Hey you there, what if I told you that the secret to consistent trading could be found using a little marshmallow? Would you believe me? Would you? In the late 1960s, 16 boys and 16 girls with an average age of about 4 years old took part in a series of experiments that would change the way we looked at the psychology of success forever. And more importantly for us traders, selfishly, would reveal for us the secrets that we need to know to be consistent traders. So these brave boys and brave girls, one by one, were escorted into a room where there was a little table and chair, and on that table was placed one single marshmallow. And they were told that if they could wait 15 minutes, just 15 minutes, without eating that marshmallow, then they'd get a second one. One table, one chair, one child, one marshmallow. Well, the test, you may have heard of it, it was called the Stanford Marshmallow Test, and a range of different outcomes happened. Some of them were really hilarious. In fact, there's some clips of some recreations of it, which I'll show you in just a sec. So the guy that conducted the experiment, Walter Mischel, I'm sure I pronounced that surname wrong, he recited some of the things that happened, and it was really funny. For example, he says that some of the kids would cover their eyes with their hands or turn around so they can't see the tray. Others would start kicking the desk or tugging on their pigtails or stroking the marshmallow as if it was a tiny stuffed animal. I mean, check out this recreation.
Isn't that true? You can either wait, and I'll give you another one if you wait, or you can eat it now.
Look at that little boy, look at his face. He's like, oh, what is life? Why can't I eat this bloody marshmallow? So as you can imagine, the stats that came out of this experiment were quite interesting. So, a small minority gobbled down the marshmallow the instant it was put in front of them, and the rest of the children attempted to delay the eating of the marshmallow, so they're delaying their gratification so they can get a second one. Of those children, only 1/3 of them managed to last the whole 15 minutes. Just 1/3. So in fact, being able to wait just 15 minutes without eating that luscious little marshmallow, that was the minority. So obviously this experiment was intending to test the need for instant gratification and whether we can delay gratification. But the actual results from this test were far more fascinating than what anyone actually expected to happen. And in particular, this came from the follow-up studies that they did. So 10 years later, they took a look at the lives of the kids that were involved in the experiment. And they say that as teenagers, the kids who delayed eating the marshmallow longer were described as significantly more competent. And a second follow-up study in 1990 took it a step further, and they found that the ability to delay gratification also had a connection to higher SAT scores in America. So to put it simply, the ability to resist the need for instant gratification was linked to having more intelligence and success later down the line. But what about traders? What does this mean for us? We don't care about little marshmallows, do we? So in 2004, Dr. Thomas Oberlechner, and I definitely pronounced that surname wrong, who was a behavioral finance psychologist, ran a study on forex traders to find out what characteristics were most important to become a successful forex trader. It was a survey that the traders had to answer, and they had to rank the order of the characteristics, which ones were more important. So interestingly, the second highest characteristic to become a successful forex trader was discipline. And number one was quick reaction times, which I find quite surprising. So discipline was right up there at the top. Now, if you follow traders on Instagram, this might come as a bit of a shock to you, because there it seems like the secret to success is taking screenshots of trading accounts on your mobile and posting pictures of rented Ferraris and fake Rolex watches. But no, the real secret to success is discipline. Interesting. So in other words, the ability to resist the marshmallow in the markets, to be disciplined enough to do that, is a secret to becoming a successful forex trader. But what is the marshmallow in the market? I love that term. Isn't that a good name for a band or something? Nah, maybe not. Well, that's easy. The marshmallow in the market, in other words, the instant gratification in the market, is focusing on short-term wins instead of the long-term gains. So focusing on everything short-term rather than what the benefit will be in the long term, which is a bit of an oxymoron in itself, because actually focusing on short-term wins instead of the long-term usually leads to short-term and long-term losses. So what's the point, eh? Short-term wins can usually present itself in one of two ways mainly. It could be either the search for the holy grail trading system, so you know, the people that are searching online constantly for the next system that's going to get them 1 million pips a month so that they can get their rented Ferraris and fake Rolex watches. And the other thing is over trading. Now, we're not going to talk about the search for the holy grail systems today. We know the holy grail system doesn't exist, right? So if you're out there searching for one, why not just go and play Pokemon Go or something and look for a Pikachu? So instead, we're going to focus on over trading. Now, we all know the approach that we're meant to take when we're opening a trade, right? You're meant to go through the criteria of your trade, say, okay, is the market and the conditions right now that is right for me opening a trade? Have I gone through the checklist? Have I got double confirmation? Is there enough for TMP? Have I got enough capital to cover that trade? What's the risk? What's the return? Blah, blah, blah. That's what we're meant to go through. If you do that, you're going to have a solid approach to trading and you're likely to make money, right? It sounds great, doesn't it? But here's the problem. As humans, we do so many irrational things and we make our lives so difficult. We end up making all these kind of decisions that we end up kicking ourselves for later down the line. You know the ones I mean. You're following the market. No, there's no setup here for me. The market characteristics right now don't match my system. No, I'm not going to open a trade. Hold on a second though. If I was going to open a trade, I'd go long. Wait, hold on a second. The market's moving up. Quick, get in the trade, get in the trade. This is typical FOMO behavior, fear of missing out. And isn't it funny how those trades always inevitably end up going horribly against us? It's just disappointing. Why traders? Why are we doing this to ourselves? But here's the surprising thing. There are actually logical reasons for that type of behavior. There's logical reasons for us as humans to start feeling FOMO and to go and enter the trade just because the market starts zooming off in one direction, not the band. So the starting point is for us to take another look at those marshmallows. Now take a look at the actual marshmallow, but I ate it at the start of the video. So of course we've got to go back to the Stanford marshmallow experiment. Now the follow-up studies of the Stanford marshmallow experiment gave some really interesting results for us as traders. And in particular an experiment in 2012 by the University of Rochester. They did the experiment again, but this time divided the children into two different groups, one of the reliable tester and one of the unreliable tester. And basically before the experiment, the tester would make a promise to the child, and in the reliable tester group, they'd fulfill that promise, and in the unreliable tester group, they wouldn't fulfill the promise. So in one, you've got a certain environment, and in the other, you've got an uncertain environment. And of course, as you would expect, the need for the instant gratification rather than being able to delay it happened more in the group of the unreliable tester. It was found that in uncertain environments, we need instant gratification more because there's that uncertainty that later down the line, we might not get the thing that we're waiting for. So those cynical little kids who couldn't wait for 15 minutes because they didn't believe in their tester anymore actually reveal a lot about us as traders. Because of course, in trading, we have a really uncertain environment. The financial markets, although we can predict certain things that are going to happen to a high probability, a high level of certainty, overall it's a very uncertain environment, which means that people are more likely to want to grab things instantly rather than playing the long game. But it's the long game that makes a successful trader, and it's the short game that makes a loser. So think about these situations. You know, the ones where, for example, your trade starts going into a profit, and rather than waiting for your target, you take the profit as soon as it goes into a plus. So you might take like £10 instead of £1,000. You're like, why did I do that? And then you go and spend the £10 on the Big Mac. But what about the situations when you get too greedy and you don't close the trade and you end up with a losing trade? Or what about when you don't close the loss when it's small because you want some certainty of profit in the short term and you end up with a bigger loss as a result of that? All of these situations create some uncertainty for us and therefore increase the need for instant gratification and also increase that FOMO feeling that we have. You see, the thing about FOMO is that in our minds, we have this monkey side of our mind and we hate to see other people getting something that we feel like we deserve to have as well. So if we know we've put in the hours of waiting there for a trade to come up and then the market starts moving in the way that we were waiting for it to happen, then we might see other people that are potentially making money from that spike in the markets thinking like, they could be making this money, I could have been making that money. And we get that FOMO feeling because we feel there's unfairness there and we jump in. In fact, it has been proven to work with monkeys as well, who dispute the fact that they get unequal pay for the same type of work.
And she gets a grape. And she eats it. The other one sees that. C gives a rock to us now, gets again cucumber.
So as I said, a lot of this is born from our monkey brain. We've got a monkey brain and a human brain in our head. I know this sounds far-fetched, but stay with me for this. Now, I'm sure you'd agree that most of the time you're in control of your own actions, right? Apart from those times, of course, when a trade goes against you and you end up punching holes in cupboards. But that's perfectly acceptable in those situations because it's really bloody frustrating. But most of the time you're in control of your actions. You'd say that you're thinking more consciously as opposed to the monkeys who are running more on instinct. But in actual fact, we're not too dissimilar really. So the human brain is what you'd consider to be you. And that's located in the frontal lobe of your brain. And the monkey brain, the one that's a bit irrational and instinctive, the one that works against us sometimes, that's located in the limbic system. So you see we've got two parts of the brain that are working in different ways, and they are a lot of the time in conflict with each other. Now the thing is that the monkey brain is able to react a lot quicker than the human brain, and in the wild the monkey brain only has to think about eating, sleeping, mating, you know, things in the present moment. So it's very much focused on instant gratification, which means that when you need to make a split decision, like a quick reaction sort of thing, and remember when we looked at traders what the important factors were with discipline and quick reaction times, although I don't quite agree with the quick reaction times, but hey, it was a study so we're going to go with the data. But since the monkey brain can react quicker, then in those quick reaction moments you're going to go for something that's going to bring instant gratification. That monkey does not care about the future. Have you ever had problems with procrastination? That's the monkey brain. Ever met a hot-headed person who just goes off on one like that over the smallest little things? I had an ex-girlfriend from Spain who was just like that. I hope she's not watching this. That's the monkey brain again. Have you ever opened a trade because you got bored of waiting for something to happen? That's that bastard monkey again. Of course, in our brain we've got this huge database of knowledge and experience that we've built up over the years. Now our human brain can look at those experiences and call upon them logically to put together the pieces to work out what's going on in the current situation. Whereas the monkey brain will look at those past experiences and feel emotional about them. So if one of those past experiences resulted in a negative emotional experience, then the monkey brain is going to automatically associate that negatively. So for example, if you've been in a situation where you keep losing trades on cable, then your monkey brain, your instinctive brain, is going to want to stay away from cable from now on because it probably doesn't trust the British anymore and doesn't want to be involved in the pound. I don't blame you. Come on, Brexit? But really it's assigning the losses to cable when in fact it's nothing to do with that. It's probably just a strategy hasn't worked in that situation. Okay, so now we know we have this monkey brain that's quicker to react than our human brain, and it's going to sabotage our trades by closing profitable trades too early, not opening trades because it's had negative experiences with that type of market or that type of situation before, opening trades incorrectly or over trading in situations where it's had positive experiences before even if it goes against the strategy, and basically just opening and closing trades based on reactions to things that don't even involve our strategy. And we know that with our human brain we want to stick to our strategy because over the long term that's what's going to benefit us most. So we need to learn what to do with this monkey brain to avoid these situations happening. And I've got 3 simple steps that you can use from today that's going to really change the situation for you. So we can exercise the monkey brain, control the monkey brain, and reward the monkey brain. Monkey brain, monkey brain, monkey brain, monkey brain, monkey brain. I keep saying the words monkey brain and it still doesn't sound normal yet. I think I'm going nuts. So let's start off with exercising the monkey brain. And by this I don't mean real exercise like going and punching a punching bag or going for a run or something like that. Of course that can help as well, but what we're talking about is actually exercising the brain. So have you ever been in a situation, for example, where you're driving a car home and someone cuts you up on the road or turns and almost crashes into you and does something stupid, or at work someone does something really irritating constantly and it just gets to you, and what happens? You flip the switch, lose your temper, and what do you do next? Well, in most cases you start ranting and talking about it either to the person who did the bad thing or to someone else who's just willing to sit there and listen. You don't necessarily want someone to talk back and give you advice, you just want someone to listen to you, blow off some steam and start nattering on about all the problems in your life, putting the world to rights. Now what happens after that? After about 10-15 minutes, maybe after a few hours for some people, you don't really feel the need anymore to keep ranting. You kind of start to adjust to the situation and feel content with it. Maybe you're still not pleased with what happened, but you kind of got over that sort of temper tantrum that you had and you don't need to keep going on anymore because you've exercised your monkey brain. So what we need to do with our trading is to also exercise our monkey brain in this way. You need to blow off some steam by talking about the situations. Now you can either do this proactively or reactively. reactively. Now, of course, reactively is after something's happened. So after you've traded badly, after a trade's gone wrong that you didn't trade badly with, after you overtraded, after you avoided overtrading and it would have worked out well for you, all of these situations, you want to talk about it. So either you can find a friend that's also trading, find your partner who might be supporting you through all of this, or have your journal and just rant about it. Get it off your chest, because that way it's cleared, it's gone, and your monkey brain's not going to get involved so much next time around because you've got it off its chest. And you can also do it proactively as well before you go live in the markets. So like we use in the Duomo method, the wild horse approach, that's doing this proactively, is that doing crazy trades, whatever you want, because you get it off your chest, get it out of your system, and then start to control your trading from there and see the difference between good trading and bad trading. It creates that contrast so that you've got that good experience linked to good trading rather than a good experience linked to bad trading. Because inevitably, by trading like the crazy horse in the markets, you are going to burn out your account eventually, and that'll be a negative experience linked to trading badly or overtrading, trading against your strategy. So the second one is controlling your monkey brain, and this one's really difficult. Imagine trying to control a wild capuchin monkey. It's not going to be easy. I know some people like to put a little waistcoat and a hat on them, but that takes a lot of years of taming that animal first, unless they really like wearing the waistcoat. But in any case, it's really difficult to control the monkey brain. What we need to do in this situation is to create a checklist for when we're opening trades. We need to create restrictions and really give ourselves limitations so that we can't go and trade in the grey area, as we always call it. We want to make sure that everything's black and white and following our system. So think like a pilot doing their checklist before they take off, right? They go through the cockpit checklist, they check everything's working, they check that all systems are ready to go and take off and fly the plane safely. So we want to do the same with our system, because if you don't give yourself any freedom to express yourself with your monkey brain in the markets and to go and overtrade here, there and everywhere, then you can't do it. You've got to make sure that everything's within guidelines, that you've got to almost like tick off everything as you go along. Yes, it's boring, but yes, it does make you consistent. In investment banks, in hedge funds, in big financial institutions, the traders there don't just trade willy-nilly. The traders have a mandate and they have to stick to that mandate, otherwise, there's the door. And you've seen what happens when traders don't stick to their mandate. You get these rogue traders who rack up these huge losses. Let that be a warning to you. Use checklists. Stick to the guidelines of your system. And the third and final one is to reward your monkey brain, to provide some instant gratification as a result of sticking to your rules. So when you open a trade, whether it goes well or badly, but it sticks to your strategy, you need to give yourself a little reward for that. And if you have a whole day where you stick to your strategy for the whole day, win or lose, you need to reward that. Just make sure none of the rewards are alcohol during a trading session, okay? Drunk trading doesn't work out very well. I've heard some terrible stories about it. I've never done it myself personally. Liar! You know, the thing about trading is that if it was just about finding the trade entry all the time, everyone could be a profitable trader. But the fact is that it's only 20% technique and 80% is psychology. So I know a lot of you get frustrated when I release videos like this where I talk about the psychological part of trading, because you think it's soft skills and you want to learn the hard skills about how to actually find the entries in the market and how to scale in and that kind of thing. But this is what makes a proper trader. This is what makes a professional, successful trader, is learning how to manage the psychological part. And if you can't control that monkey mind of yours, control the need for instant gratification, you're never going to succeed. And this is something I see a lot in beginner traders, that they really need that instant gratification. And they want to be a profitable trader yesterday, not 2 years from now, not a year from now, not taking this course and sitting through 15 hours of videos. They want to have profitable trades open right now in their account. And that's not really possible all the time. That's the need for instant gratification, rather than delaying that need and becoming more successful because you're more intelligent. So if we take charge with our human brain and stop that impulsive little monkey brain, tell that chimp to get the hell out of here, then we're going to be just fine and we'll be very consistent with our trading. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a little bit odd talking about marshmallows and monkeys and whatnot, but it's really important information. So if you put it in practice, you're going to see definite improvements in your trading. If you want more videos about trading, make sure you subscribe to this channel. If you want to watch our previous video, it's over there. And if you want to learn our unique and exclusive method of trading, make sure you sign up for our Inner Circle mailing list. You'll get exclusive access to our video mini-series to learn the foundations of our method as well. And of course, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you have any comments, questions, recommendations, suggestions, leave them in the comments box below. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I appreciate it as always. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.